Hi, everybody. This is Tamiya Robles. Welcome to another episode of Coast to Coast Credit. I am the owner of FixMyCreditNow850.com. And today I have a very special guest. I have the owner of a fintech company called TruFinco, and her name is Sara Weldon. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you, Tamiya. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, if we could just jump right in, who
Yep.
are you? What exactly is a fintech company for those that don't know? And what exactly does TruFinco do? What do you have to offer? So on and so forth.
Yeah. So I am one of the owners of TruFinco. I'll dive into what we are. So I like to think of us as an all-inclusive finance company. And really what I mean by that is there really is a program for everyone. So when Rick and I started this company almost 3 years ago, we just started out with just business and personal funding. But as you know, people need all types of funding, and we kept getting requests, and we just kept adding on so much more. So not only do we have all types of business funding, even for startups, we have personal funding. We do a lot in the commercial real estate space, so fix and flips, buy and holds. But we also now work with private investors. We do debt restructuring. So you name it, we do it. But really, main reason for that is we just hate telling people no. And there's so many people that have been burned by the banks, and we just like being a great alternative. So really what our company has become, we really educate people on the world of alternative funding, because most people, well, I am included, we weren't brought up in school ever learning about business credit. We never learned a darn thing. You were taught, go to the bank, get your loan. That's the only way to survive. Unfortunately, this day and age, there is no way to get ahead in business by doing that. And so a lot of these wealthy entrepreneurs have made their millions using business credit, using other people's money, and they love to keep it secret, buy my ebook, buy my course. And
Mhm.
we've really kind of done the opposite and yanked the covers off of it. We've created quite a platform on TikTok, believe it or not. And really, yes, we have to pay bills, but our biggest goal is just educating people and showing them, hey, there's an alternative. There is hope. You're not just stuck in your 9 to 5 forever. There's so many great alternatives. So that's a little bit about what our company does. We're a little bit unique. My partner and I were actually married. We live on a farm in Florida, which I know sounds extremely weird. Most people don't think of farm in Florida.
No, not at all.
Totally odd. And I didn't either.
Mhm.
Before I moved here, I thought it was like Disney World and palm trees, and that's it. But
Mhm, mhm.
surprisingly, it's beautiful
And the
farmland.
and the
And
beach.
the beach, which is why I moved here. But
Mhm,
it's spectacular, and so we
mhm,
we work from home, which is great. Obviously, thanks to COVID, pretty much everybody has that
mhm,
ability, but
mhm.
it's lovely. And here we are in the middle of nowhere in Florida, and we're able to. I mean, we work with people honestly. Even worldwide, our investor program, it can be with worldwide. So it's been really a great adventure. We're continuously growing, and it's a lot of fun.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for that. So, we did speak briefly about this offline, but as you know, I have customers as a credit repair specialist.
Mhm.
I have a whole lot of customers from different that need different things resolved. Right? They're fixing their credit for
Mhm.
different reasons, whether it's for business, whether they're trying to purchase a home, or what have you. Are you able to help clients that don't have a business but are looking for a personal loan? And if so, what options do you have for them?
So personal funding, we have some great options. Um, as long as you have provable income. So it's easier if you have a W-2 job. If you have a good W-2 job and your credit is pretty strong, so I'd say above a 680, with that, we're able to do we can do personal term loans or personal lines of credit individually up to 300,000 and household up to 500,000. I like this type of funding because there's no prepayment penalty. So yes, you can take the longest terms. You want a 7-year term, so you have the lowest payment, great, but then turn around, pay it off quickly, no penalty whatsoever. That's a great program. I'll be honest, we do that with a lot of clients. It funds very quickly, so typically turnaround is about 2 weeks, and this will be key to you. You don't get a hard inquiry to find out what you qualify for.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a big one, as you know, because
Yes,
that's
definitely.
what's a lot of clients. And I'll be honest, I see, your side too. So many people can't get
Mhm.
approved because they have applied to everything under the sun, taken every credit card, and
Mhm.
inquiries just kill them. So you're
Right.
always the hero because
Mhm.
you can help with those things.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Okay. So now I also have the same customers, right? I
Hmm.
fixed their credit and now they want business funding. What
Hmm.
would you recommend, especially to the customers that don't know much? They know they do need funding. So
Hmm.
how would you walk them through that particular process?
Very easily. So biggest piece, I love clients that have come to you first because I know their credit is in pretty darn good shape. So
Mm,
what I recommend, I'll be honest, to probably 90% of people I talk to because it's so versatile is capital stacking. That is
mm,
our number one funding program because it can fit everybody's needs. So basically what capital stacking is, it's business credit. Benefit of business credit doesn't reflect on your personal credit. So it's kind of like hidden debt. Yes, the debt exists, you still pay it, but it doesn't ruin your debt to income, none of that. What with capital stacking, what we're doing is essentially stacking business credit. So instead of you going out and getting an Amex for, let's say, 10,000, we're stacking and getting upwards of 150,000, all at
mm,
0% for up to 2 years. But here's what's
mm,
really unique about it, and what most people don't, I mean, a lot of people don't even know what it is, to be quite
mm,
honest. But really, what it is understanding which credit cards pull from which bureaus, and we know how to strategically do it. So most people go out and willy-nilly apply. They all
mhm,
see each other's inquiries and then you get
mhm,
denied. We
mhm,
know the strategic way to do it. We know who pulls from which. So essentially, and this sounds so cheesy, but it's a great way of thinking of it, it's like hide and seek with credit cards. So we apply to the credit cards so they don't see each other. So that's how
mhm,
you stack and get the best results. Reason I love this is you can liquidate, still stay at 0%. So there's no difference between that type of funding and cash. Everyone gets so hung up on, oh, it's a credit card. No, it's just like
mhm.
cash.
Yeah,
If you do
yeah.
it right, you stay at 0%. But why it's
Mm,
great, it doesn't require any financials. So perfect for startups. It doesn't
mhm,
require tax returns, income verification, employment, nada. The application is
mhm,
10 seconds, funds in
mhm,
2 weeks. I use this for startups. I use this a lot for real estate. As long as you're working with private lenders, there's your down payment for your fix and flip. There's your rehab
mhm,
money.
mhm,
That is, I do that. I will be honest. I work with a lot of private lenders and I'm their best friend because I
mhm.
get all their deals closed because, you come, some of those deals need 25% down. And I don't know about you, I don't have that in my pocket. And
Not
so,
really, not yet.
and no, and even if you do, you shouldn't use it. So as long
Yeah.
as it makes sense, you're borrowing capital so cheaply, 0%, there you go.
Mhm,
So it's great for real estate, but it's also great. I'll be honest, I wish I could get to every business owner before they ruin their personal credit by funding through their business, because
mhm.
then it's like a long road backwards. But
Yes.
every business owner needs business credit. There's always
Mhm,
unexpected expenses, there's
mhm,
always opportunities to grow, and running it through your personal credit, as you know very
mhm.
well, is
Yep.
such a mistake because then you're overutilized, all these things, the liabilities on you personally. There's so many things. Whereas if you start at the beginning with business credit, man, it's such a better journey and such a better process. But the key, it's great if they've worked with you because it doesn't ask for anything. It relies totally on having good personal credit. So at least a
Mhm,
680, but then aged credit cards, no lates, no open collections, no
mhm,
excessive inquiries, which isn't a
mhm.
lot to ask because there's
Yeah,
nothing else. And
yeah.
so as long as you're in that little box, this is absolutely hands down the best type of funding, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, and as you know, I've sent many customers over
mhm,
to you, and they did get funding, and they said it was a seamless process. It
mhm,
wasn't, complex, straight to the point. And they had their information ready, their score was together, and they would call me and say, I just got approved. So I was like, yeah, that's TruFinco. That's what they do.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you guys for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting now more than ever, and I have an idea why. I think it has a lot to do with the pandemic, where I've had clients that have bankruptcies and now they're trying to fix it, and now they're trying to, but dealing with lenders, certain people they all function differently.
Mm-hmm.
If I send a client over that has a bankruptcy that's discharged, that's over 2 years old,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to still help them, or does that bankruptcy have to come off?
So depends on the program. So capital stacking, it's a fine line. Typically they look at 4 years, but it's not just that. They want to see that you've established good credit since. So capital
Mhm,
stacking, if you are bound and determined and you have a bankruptcy, doesn't mean it's out of the question. I would get a credit partner. So it's like a co-signer.
mhm,
Real estate, commercial real estate, as long as it's 2 years, we're good. And
mhm,
then we do true revenue-based funding, so like business lines of credit and term loans that are revenue-based. As long
mhm,
as you're above that 2-year mark, that's kind of that sweet spot. Then usually it's not an issue, as long as you don't have, a bunch of issues since then.
mhm. Okay, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. And then another thing I heard you mention when we first got on about education. How do
Mm-hmm.
you educate potential clients?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I really push out there is I love people that are new to business, real estate, anything, because they're usually the ones that are afraid to ask or dive in because they don't know everything. So
Mhm,
honestly, if I'm on the call with somebody, it's not just, hey, what kind of funding do you need? Here we go. It's, hey, what are you trying to do? Tell me a little about you, your business. Once I understand a little bit about the person,
mhm,
and I can tell from what they're telling me whether they're, need new to the world of funding or need some education. I take my time, and I'll be honest, I'm usually running late for all my appointments because I talk too much, but I don't ever want to cut someone off. So I will
yeah,
dive in and say, let's break it down. This is what business credit is. This is what capital stacking is. And you know, I don't know where I get it from. A lot of people are like, you explain something that's complicated, you make it sound really easy. So
mhm,
I'm really happy for that because it doesn't need to be complicated.
mhm,
And same thing, I do that with whatever type of funding. I don't just say, this is what you need. It's, this is
mhm,
what this is. Do you have
mhm,
questions? Do you understand? Does this sound like a good fit? Same thing real estate as well. Whew, people have no clue what a DSCR loan is. So, we
mhm.
go into the specifics. And then I do a lot of credit. Um, I pull up credit reports. Here's what's
Yeah,
going on. Here's why
yeah,
you need
yeah,
help.
yes.
And really, I'll be honest, I love people that are open to it and that will go to you first, because
Mhm,
we are such a society of wanting everything right now. And so
mhm,
people will get denied, and I'll be like, hey, let's take a step back, couple months in
yeah,
credit repair, we could have a
mhm,
whole different story. And there's so many people who are like,
mhm,
nope, not going to do that. I'm like, you're never going to
mhm,
get there. If you just would put that work in, I
mhm.
mean, time and time again, I can then get people approved, just, getting those few things off. But
Mhm. Now, I actually have a client that, and I know what you guys do, but I wanted you
hmm
to kind of get into it a little bit, where I sent them over to you and they expected in their mind that they were going to get like this huge amount, right? This huge
mm,
loan. And they weren't approved for that particular amount, but they were approved for a lesser amount.
hmm
Um, what do you do? And it was for a business loan. So what do you do in that situation where the customer, they didn't get the dollar amount yet?
hmm
How do you handle that?
Yeah, so it most likely was business credit was
Mhm,
what they were looking for. And yes,
mhm,
everybody wants that top dollar. I
mhm,
myself do. We all do. The biggest thing I tell people is this is a great start. It's an absolute great start. The thing about business credit that people don't understand or realize is it's extremely easy to build. So you get your foot in the door, even if it's 30, 40,000, you're not stuck at that. You start using it, running it
mhm,
up, paying it down, paying it off very quickly. You will be amazed how many
mhm,
credit line increases and additional offers at 0% you get. I mean, I follow up with all my clients. I'm like, hey, for 2 months in, and they're like, Sarah, I'm getting all these 0% offers.
Yes.
This is insane. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put this in perspective. So I have clients that I've been working with since the beginning. We keep doing rounds of this. And in the beginning, they started out small. I think it was like maybe 45,000. We are
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years in. One has 600,000, one has 700,000 in business credit.
Wow.
And they started with a very minimal amount, but I kept
Mm-hmm.
saying, we just got to work at it. You have to
Gotta
use it.
build
You
it.
have you
Mm-hmm.
have to use it. Just
Mm-hmm.
because you have credit doesn't mean that's great. You've got to use it.
Yes.
And it's so I understand people are disappointed. Totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
However, you just have to use it. But there's alternatives, right? If it's not as much as you want, we can look at, maybe you have a spouse with good credit. We could do them as well. Or do you also have a business that's generating revenue? We could tack on some true business lines of credit. So we always try to, when someone doesn't get as much as they want, we always try to look at, is there anything more in this picture that we could pull in to possibly get them to their goal?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they're still with you guys. They're very pleased. And to my knowledge, it was just the lack of education. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't know. They were like, "Oh wow, we're gonna get $2 million." It's like, no, you're
Yes. Yep.
not. But I appreciate you guys still working with them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for your time. But could you please, before we go, let everybody know how we can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So you can go on our website. It's trufinco.com. There's a little book a free consultation. You can book it there. Just make sure
Yeah.
you put in the notes you came from Tamiya. Or if you're one of those people that's not afraid to be on TikTok, and it's not just teenagers. We I will say that we have a lot of great videos that explain so many different aspects of the funding process.
Okay.
And you can book appointments. Every piece of social media you can book directly with us there. So we've made it very, very easy.
Excellent. And then just so everybody out there knows, just look in the description as well, and we'll have all of Sarah and TruFinco's information.
Thank you. Take
You're
care.
welcome. You guys have a good one.
Bye.